The following is a DW Ancient Egypt production. Merneptah's father, Ramesses II, lived well into his 90s and was one of the oldest pharaohs in Egyptian history, if not the oldest. Merneptah was the 13th son of Ramesses II, only coming to power because all of his older brothers had died, including his full brother Khemhotep. He would rule Egypt for almost 10 years, from late July or early August 1213 BC until his death on May 2nd, 1203 BC. Merneptah would have been prepared to be pharaoh through the responsibility of his government roles. By year 40 of Ramesses II, Merneptah had been promoted to overseer of the army. In year 55, he was officially proclaimed crown prince. At that point, he gained additional responsibilities by serving as prince regent for the last 12 years of Ramesses II's life. For the last years of Ramesses II's rule, peace had flourished on the Egyptian frontiers, but these times were changing. A flash revolt in southern Syria was quickly crushed. The Hittite king Tyldesley IV began facing attacks on his northern borders by the Assyrians and sought assistance from Egypt after experiencing a famine from crop failure. Merneptah responded by sending grain. On the western borders, the Libyans had been quietly infiltrating the delta. In year 5, they attempted an invasion while fomenting revolt in Nubia and the western oasis. Rapid mobilization and a heavy preemptive strike in the oasis brought victory and allowed him to turn south to crush the Nubian revolt. Merneptah built his mortuary temple on the edge of the desert at Thebes. Like many of his predecessors, he was not averse to using earlier buildings as a quarry. His masons turned to the nearby mortuary temple of Amenhotep III. Now largely abandoned, he removed much of it, including a large stele that was turned around to create Merneptah's victory hymn. This stele, discovered by Flinders Petrie in 1896, is now also known as the Israel stele. It contains the earliest textual reference to Israel and the only reference from ancient Egypt. Petrie considered this stone to be his most famous discovery. At dinner that evening, Petrie prophesied, "This stele will be better known in the world than anything else I have found." It was the first mention of the word Israel in any Egyptian text, and the news made headlines when it reached the English papers. The stele is a black granite slab over 10 feet high, and the inscription states that it was carved in the 5th year of Merneptah. Most of the text glorifies his victory over enemies from Libya and their Sea People allies, but the final 2 lines mention a campaign in Canaan where Merneptah states he defeated and destroyed Ashkelon, Gezer, Yanoam, and Israel. Israel is devastated. Her seed is no more. Palestine has become a widow for Egypt. Merneptah was buried in tomb KV8 in the valley. This tomb has 3 sloping corridors that lead to a well chamber, Chamber E, and a pillared chamber, Chamber F, with a side chamber. A central descent and sloping corridor lead to Chamber H, beyond which is a second corridor that slopes down to the vaulted burial chamber. This has side chambers in the corners and a Chamber K at the rear. Chamber K also has side chambers. The burial chamber, located at the end of 160 meters of corridor, originally held a set of 4 nested sarcophagi. Each were carved in various stones that included alabaster, rose, and black granite. The outer sarcophagus was so big that parts of the corridor had to have their door jambs demolished and rebuilt to allow it to be brought in. These jambs were then rebuilt with the help of inscribed sandstone blocks, which were then fixed into their place with dovetail clamps. The pillars in Chamber F were removed to allow passage of the sarcophagus, but only 2 were replaced. The other 2 pillars may have been stolen by Peneb, a worker in the craftsman village at Deir el Medina, for use in his own tomb. The mummy of Merneptah was discovered in the 1898 cache of mummies in the tomb of Amenhotep II. There is some evidence that Merneptah's queen, Isis Nofret II, was also buried in his tomb rather than in the Valley of the Queens, but that she predeceased him, but her body has not been identified. Seven.